Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Online Creators Association Monday night stream. We're going to be talking about TikTok news today. But before we get into that, we have a guest tonight. Asked how to describe her content. She characterized it as general dumbass. But tonight we have Am I a Fairy Princess Yet? Best known for the anglerfish costume videos and the rainbow dress series, where she's recreating a dress she had as a child. That is really just adorable and cute, and I love that series so much. Channel is broadly sewing, crafting, and fashion, and here's a look at what Blythe's work is like. Hi, Blythe. How's it going?
Hello. It is going. I just made a mistake in my sewing, but I successfully figured out how to go live on TikTok.
Nice.
You did it. We're doing
Yay.
so good.
Extremely on brand to just be sewing as the stream starts.
Yep, working on the rainbow dress.
Rainbow dress.
Yeah. I made a bunch of mistakes on some of the seams, and I am covering them up with flowers.
Micah's sick, but she's here in spirit. Micah, go to sleep. We love you. Go to sleep.
And Michael asked, how's everybody's Monday? Mine's all right.
Jake said words. We're all doing fine.
It's
Arget,
Monday.
you're muted. Arget, do you know that you're muted?
Okay, I think that's all that J.K. Rowling knows how to do anymore is just outrage farm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean it's purposeful. It's to get herself trending so that the new trailer for the current series will not flop because everyone's pretty much given up on it because we're all tired. We're all tired.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, she's just outrage farming. She's being her usual awful self.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to go look at her. It's fine. What is in the TikTok news today?
Well, the first thing I want to talk about is not strictly a TikTok story, but it is a thing that people on TikTok are doing, and we are proud of them.
For once.
Reddit and TikTok users clog job postings after Kellogg readies to replace striking union workers.
Hell yeah.
Kellogg workers began striking outside of production plants in 4 cities
on Twitch.
Back in early October. About 1,400 employees initially walked out of work after Kellogg said the union that after Kellogg and the union that represents them, the Bakery, Confectionery, and Tobacco Workers and Grain Millers International Union, didn't reach an agreement regarding a new work contract. Since going on strike, workers have shared stories about absolutely horrifying conditions they have to put up with to keep their jobs at Kellogg, including working 80-hour weeks. Jesus. Most recently, Kellogg said it's planning to permanently replace striking workers. The union issued a statement saying it continues to support their workers on strike, and some social media users are doing their part by swarming Kellogg's job applications with fake responses. The goal? To clog the system and make it harder for the company to replace union workers.
My personal favorite part of what people are doing is they're not just saying, oh, go clog this with fake stuff. They're like providing area codes for fake phone numbers, zip codes that people can use, telling people about like, here's like the common last names, just sort of mash some stuff together and see what happens. It is a very coordinated effort. Proud of that. And I think it's 1,400 workers that they've just decided they don't need anymore and they're going to replace.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Because they were all striking.
Black posted a video explaining a code to TikTok that is intended to essentially spam Kellogg with fake applications. The idea is that the code would autofill application questions and include a filler resume to submit the application. I saw that TikTok. This is the first I heard of this whole situation, and it's really like it's a different, like plausible fictional person every time. And like it enters area codes that are appropriate to the branch that it's applying to. and like a different like valid randomly generated phone number.
This gives me so much joy. I can't. Like, I'm very sorry to everyone who lives near any of these plants. You're going to be getting a lot of weird phone calls. But like, I feel like everyone who lives near the plants understands what's going on and will probably like in solidarity be like, actually, fuck you, that was fake. That's so good. I'm sorry. This makes me so happy that we as a society have started saying like, actually, maybe union's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Mhm.
good. It's been so long. And I've just watched, I'm the child of a public school teacher. I just watched my mom's union get dragged through the mud at every single like parent teacher meeting and every single school board meeting, knowing that that was the thing that like gave me the health insurance that kept me alive. So it's really heartening to see. It's good. Anyway, boycott Kellogg's and all affiliated products.
Mm-hmm.
The General Mills.
Which also, if you're not sure, there is an app called Buycott, Buycott. You scan every barcode. I went through my house last night because I was like, I don't know what shit is. Excuse me. But like, I don't know what any of this is. So I went and I scanned everything and I'm like, I make some pretty wise decisions and I didn't even know it. But yeah, Buycott.
I'm gonna have to download
Very
that so
handy.
I can walk through the aisles of my grocery store. Thank you, Watson.
No problem.
Download Buycott. Thanks, Buycott.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right. Moving on to less interesting, less exciting, but actually about TikTok.
Boo.
Tips and gifts, new ways to make money on TikTok. TikTok is adding a new feature to offer tips and gifts, tips and the ability to send gifts to virtual creators. My brain is not working tonight. I am struggling to read.
you want me to do reading?
I was
That'd
just
be
going to
great,
say,
please.
if you need me to read, say words.
I can also do that.
TikTok is adding a new feature to offer tips and the ability to send gifts virtual creators that content.
Okay, so it's not me, it's the sentence.
Yeah, it's
That
the
is
sentence,
not
the sentence
good.
is
Breaking news.
That quick to blame yourself. The sentence is written. TikTok is adding a new feature for offer tips and the ability to send gift virtual creators that content, which is not a sentence. Okay, so they copied and pasted a thing into a pre-written article and they didn't
Yeah.
move the words around. I get how this goes.
Yeah.
I know. Okay, which will allow them to monetize the work they do on their channels. These new features belong to the Creator Next program that seeks to create a set of monetization tools for creators to earn income.
So that's what the Creator Next thing was about.
Yeah, and it's weird. So Creator Next essentially TikTok sent out a notification like on behalf of Creator Next, and it should be in your notifications from TikTok, that you could apply to become part of the Creator Next program. Part of the issue with it is it does seem that TikTok did that thing where like it sent out this notification and then it also let me know that I could join the marketplace. But I've been in the marketplace since they opened up the marketplace because I use my account as a guinea pig every single time. So there was some confusion about what this is and what purpose it serves. So tips are the next. There's needles in that. No. Sorry, I'm pinning together a vest and there's it's fine. Shh, don't please, honey. I swear to God.
All right, so here's something that's interesting. Tips are sent through the Stripe application, and TikTok establishes a transaction fee, which is charged to the sender of the tip, so the tip reaches the creator in full. Users are eligible to receive tips. We'll have an icon in their profile. Now, this line, TikTok establishes a transaction fee.
We don't know what that is yet.
Well, the question is TikTok profiting from this tipping mechanism, or does TikTok just is Stripe's use fee present in the TikTok transaction?
I think Stripe does have a fee.
Stripe does have a fee. It's a pretty minimal fee. But we don't know if that matches. I have not gotten a tip yet.
I got one. So fun fact about the tips, no notification. $5 showed up in my bank account from Stripe, and I know there's nowhere else that's coming from, because the only other money that comes to me through Stripe comes in $45 increments. Shares of ownership in my Immortal Soul are available for purchase at txwatson.com/my-soul.
I have one, and I would say it's a great investment wherever I put it. I'm going to frame it someday. I just keep forgetting to.
So, okay, so good to know that there's no warning on those tips. Love that.
Also, no name, no ability to like. I would really love to be able to thank people, particularly like if they send me a tip in a live. Would love that to show up in chat so that I can thank them in order to inform everybody else that there is a tip function.
You know,
why put the feature in right away when you can have people request it later on?
You know how I've described working at the Children's Theater and the payments that I would get like 2 months after doing a show for like $80 for like an undisclosed number of shows with no memo, just from the theater owner, not even from the theater account, just from his like personal Chase account. That's what this feels like. TikTok is like, would you care for some money? And you're like, who's it from? And I don't know. And I hate it. It is good that there's a feature that isn't taking an exorbitant fee, because any gifts that you give during lives, TikTok is taking 70% of that money. So it is good that there's a feature that it seems to be less, and it seems to be upfront with telling people this is a tip for $5, and you will be. I'm gonna assume. Actually, I should just go give somebody a tip after this is done. But I'm gonna assume it tells you what that markup is, and then we can figure out from there if that's just Stripe's normal fee or if TikTok also has a fee attached to it. It probably isn't very much. So it's good that they're doing that. But it's weird that they're not letting you know who it was and thank them.
Yeah, like there should super be a notification for that. Like clearly the what was it, Creator Next program? They've just made a new department, and that one also does not talk to any other department.
Of course not.
Well, I mean, this was the thing when this feature first came out, when people got the notification, I went to apply immediately and was rejected from the program, even though I'm in the marketplace and also in the creator fund. And the criteria for all of them are the same in terms of like, have an account in good standing, have this specific number of followers, have this many views per month, and you're good to go. So there was a moment where I was like, are they holding people to higher or different standards in this program? And then all of a sudden, 2 days ago, I got told like, you got a tip button.
Yeah.
Have fun with it.
Yeah, but
I
now
think one of our
I
other creators on the Discord, I'm not gonna share who because I don't remember if this was in a private channel, like shared a screenshot saying that like they had been rejected from the program, and then another screenshot of their profile page which showed that they had the tip button.
So this is another piece of my theory on this whole process is, as we've discussed countless times, because they keep, well, between the lack of communication and it's an app built on an app, etc. I have a feeling this is a way for them to retroactively help get everybody else who is missing certain key features that they've decided that everybody who meets X criteria. So that's probably the real reason, like why half of this is coming out. So it's like for anybody who's still retroactively missing tips, if they apply for Creator Next, then they'll actually get these extra features that they don't have access to yet, which it's like, can playlists please be next? That'd be great.
I still don't have playlists, and they would because my sewing video series always takes so long because I'm chronically ill, so it's really slow. I need playlists so badly for that, and I still don't have them. I was just complaining to myself, wandering around my apartment, stomping and complaining about this to myself earlier today, so I'm still pissed about it.
Not a week goes by outside of Toka, like not a week goes by that I do not have one or two friends from within TikTok that don't know that I talk about this regularly because I compartmentalize too much. Talk about not having playlists, and I'm like, oh, let me tell you my thoughts and feelings on the subject. You're right. Everybody needs this. That and the ability to organize my favorites.
Oh my god. I really wish I could like
Flavors?
have like a category for reference stuff, because there's some stuff I've saved that's like sewing reference, recipe
Yes.
reference, stuff like that.
No. No.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
only have chaos and effort,
Yes.
and those are the only categories I fucking need.
I'm
I
really
never saved a
for
video because it's
folders
informational.
for my favorites, because right now the way that I categorize favorited videos is I just send them to Cecelia.
Yeah. For a very temporary time, I made myself my own alt spam account just to send myself stuff. But I'm like, you know what? I'm on this app too damn much. It's just as lost here as it is there. So I'm just going to abandon that whole path.
What I actually did recently, because there was a video about the measurements of like a really simple cape that looked really cool, really comfy, and really easy to make, I just screenshotted every single, it had captions on it. I screenshotted every single time, like where the person showed what each measurement was, and I was like, I could just reconstruct it from here. That's fine, because there's no way I'm finding the video again.
Right.
I have been guilty of that, both with recipes that people actually put on TikTok and with like some instructional videos where I've been like, I'm not going to remember this video. I'm going to take a picture of every single line that they say, and then I'll have the directions. This is perfectly fine and normal.
One of my favorite like dinners that I like to make is a recipe I got from TikTok. And what I actually did was I downloaded the video, and then I sat there with the video playing over and over again as I transcribed the basic recipe into a document on my computer.
So like how we used to have to caption our videos.
Yeah.
So remember now too, if you've got Google Chrome, you can turn the auto captions on too, and then you could just kind of keep copying on long down.
I think TikTok's most underutilized resource is the actual user base, because the length that we will go to make things like accessible and usable and better is way more than the app itself.
And it's
so much more.
And it's like, that's why I hate to say it. I hate to say it. And I'm sorry, everybody. But that's why they don't do better. Because I know we're bored and we're going to do it.
And I mean, like,
it's so bad. It's a bad business model, but it's.
And this is true of every social media, but the creators are TikTok's only asset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also want to just, I forgot to mention this when I was doing the introduction, but there is a chat command. I'm dropping it right now. If you type, "Am I a fairy princess yet?" in chat with an exclamation point in the front, it will give you the link to Blythe's TikTok.
Oh, wait. So, Michael, this is a stupid thing. This is a stupid thing on TikTok. After a while, TikTok just gets rid of the appearance of the red heart on videos you've liked long enough ago. Your like is still there. The like count does not go down, but it just stops showing you that you've liked it. And it's just like a way to save the littlest bit of space.
Yeah, it seems like the graphical decision to show you that the button is red is stored on like an instance of the app, so that like when you force close or reboot your phone or something, it forgets all of those. But the actual like is stored as like a permanent relationship between your account and that video.
You know, if you take a couple of servers and you hot glue them together, maybe it will make a functioning app. If we just keep them close to each other, maybe eventually something will happen. No, you're not unliking them. You're not.
It's very much like how people think that TikTok unfollows them from people. It just sometimes forgets to show you that you are already following people.
That is...
The only times we've ever found instances of people actually getting unfollowed from people where it's not just a graphical error is when you follow them during some kind of glitch that's going on. Because that was a time where I followed someone during a glitch, my follow was removed, but it's because they restored an older version of the app, more likely than not, which meant, you know, that latest follow was gone. My latest couple of likes were also gone. It's all stupid. It's all extremely stupid.
They set out a update of the app just recently too, like today at some point. And I'm very glad because it finally fixed that stupid error that I've been having since Friday, where anyone that I am friends with that shows up on my FYP, it says that I'm not following them, even though it also states that they are my friend.
They're your friends.
And
but
it's
you're not
hit and
following
miss.
them. No one's following each other, but you're
Yes.
friends.
Yes. And then, like, if I swipe to view their page, everything's fine. If I'm on the following page, everything shows up normal and correct. And then for the people that I do actually follow, it's hit and miss. Sometimes it says that I'm following them. Sometimes it doesn't, even though I'm still following them if I look at their profile. Like, it's
great.
just
That's
the
great.
dumbest thing ever. But it's fixed now as of today, too, which that just...
God.
I have also, now that I think of it, discovered another dumb new glitch. Actually, 3. A number of new glitches around a service that I don't think a lot of us have experimented with before. I have my comments set to require approval for every comment.
Oh, yeah.
Because it
do
turns
not
out that
blame
the app
you,
is...
knowing the comments you've gotten.
Yeah, like, it's so much easier to post something and then go to sleep knowing I'm not going to wake up to see that my comment section is being used to platform Nazis.
Yeah.
Right.
But
That's fair.
sometimes, first of all, sometimes TikTok just doesn't filter a comment and it just goes through.
Even when you're telling it to filter all of them?
Correct. It also, and it did this.
Spicy.
It did this a lot when I had just restricted terms as well, but always blocks my own comments, so I have to go and approve those. That's not a feature they, and that's not a glitch. That's just them sucking at design. But also to deal with, like, the first time I saw that comments just going through problem, I decided I wanted to just turn comment filtering off and on again to see if that fixed it. Because, turn it off and on again is always the first tech solution to every problem. I turned it off. That worked fine. I tried to turn it back on, and it said you can only change your comment settings up to 5 times in a 24-hour period. If you were counting, that was 2.
It was 2.
The first one counted as 5.
Hell site.
So I had to wait
Hellsite
24 hours to
derogatory.
turn comment filtering back on again.
Yeah, versus Hellsite affectionate, which
Yeah.
is Tumblr at this point.
Exactly.
Their obsession with telling you that they're rate limiting something after the fact blows my mind. When you go to make the change, if it's got some sort of rate limit, it should tell you before, not after. Oh, gracious.
No, tell you after. Only after.
I do find it interesting because I don't, thankfully, everybody's kind in my comment sections. No, that is not an invitation for crap to go my way. But that I appreciate that you shared that too, because, like, I never would have accepted it or expected, wow, words, for that to be a thing. But I do also find it interesting because, like, that sort of same thing happens with Reddit with, like, Automod sometimes. Like, if the servers, not necessarily your particular content, are busy at a moment, it can have a hiccup and miss something sometimes. And it's very rare with Reddit specifically. I mean, I expect that way more with TikTok, but I think that's interesting that it can sometimes get overwhelmed like that and then just continue on afterwards as if everything's fine. It never looks back, only forward.
Only forward, never back.
Yes.
I do love the concept of the servers just getting overwhelmed by the sheer number of people trying to fuck around with their comment limiting, because the audience on TikTok is so often so terrible that it was like, well, I know that feels like 5 changes. I'm not really sure what's going on here. Come back in like 10 minutes.
Honestly, if I had known more about comment filtering when this one video I had get popular happened, I would have just blocked the phrase "when you," because half of the comments on that video were when you. And I was like, I know, I opened a bottle of funny fizzy white stuff. Please stop.
I didn't block the word mommy until it was too late. It's blocked now and no one can call me mommy. However, there was a time period in which it kept coming up, and anytime I used my NPR announcer voice, people would be like mommy, and I would Do you have an NPR kink? Can you calm down? But like that was the.
Sorry.
I did that, and I did the little simpering sad face emoji. No one's allowed to use that.
Oh, the one with the big
My
eyes.
presence on TikTok anymore.
Yeah, when I started posting videos in my anglerfish costume, I was so close to just preemptively blocking the word mommy. I ended up not needing to. So it was fine that I didn't do it, but I was so close.
I can't do it. Okay, wait, we got to go back to the article. The other thing that Creator Next has rolled out is, I believe, those gifts on videos, which is sort of a thing that was like around with larger verified creators for a long time. But now it just seems like you can do it with pretty much anybody that's involved in the program. There does appear to be some kind of review period, because people are enrolling in Creator Next, and then they're like, every single video they try to put out is under review. And they sit at 0 views for a while, for longer than they would expect them to. So that's just a word of warning, like before you do any of that. There does seem to be something going on with like a bit of a review period.
And I'm sorry, NPR, National Public Radio. Thank you for making me feel old for not knowing that.
What?
NPR is pretty old.
It's the opposite. I am a grandma for knowing it and being so fond of it.
Not you. I'm sorry. Michael goes NPR. I'm not going to say it.
Michael, I know what NPR is.
Oh, come on. When you make a comment like what you did right there, like
Michael's here for the jokes, God damn it.
I mean, I like the joke, but every single time I see that level of smartassery regarding an acronym, and mind you, I am the person who needs
I couldn't possibly be right about this. Your brain is like, I must be wrong. This must be what the acronym is.
Now I have the NPR bit stuck in my head.
And I am so old that there are so many acronyms that I'm like, I am sorry. I need you to explain this to me. Like, please. Like, I've never related to Hank Green so much as the one time with the Ick Yick video. If you know, you know. I was like, oh my God. I'm not the only one. Thank you.
I have this weird like point of pride where I refuse to look unfamiliar acronyms up. I just have to see it enough times in context to finally figure out what it means. I just refuse to look it up. I refuse to admit that I have to look these things up now.
I've gone down the Urban Dictionary rabbit hole one too many times that if I don't have a friend, I will go there if I must.
So we moved off this topic a little bit, but jumping back to comment filtering, I remembered one of the funniest TikToks I have ever seen on the topic of TikTok mechanics. So I went and pulled it, and I want to play it for y'all.
Yeah.
Armadillos keep digging.
I drew a pangolin.
Little holes in my backyard.
And then flop the word
And every
pangolin.
time I'm barefoot, it might.
Keeps going.
So I love that, but also I don't know what that is. What is pangolin?
Oh, they're the little dudes. They're the little dudes with the little hands.
That's a minion.
No! I would not speak of minions in such affectionate terms. The pangolins are the little armored men with hands.
They're like an armadillo simp.
Are you saying this because you've also seen the post that's like, he wants to go to prom with you, but he's too shy to ask? Yeah.
Okay, I will have to Google that one too then, because I'm still not.
They have this sort of triangly, scaly armor, and they're like little. That's my pangolin impression.
I am not in some bubble that I feel like I should. Oh, okay.
Please don't call pangolins armadillo simps ever again. I can't handle it.
Okay, so it's a legitimate animal name because you know what?
Oh, yeah,
Pangolin sounds like a
they curl up in a
Pokemon
little
name.
It does sound like a Pokemon.
It does sound like a Pokemon. They curl up in a little ball, and they're very cute.
Me too.
We used to have a taxidermied armadillo that Nick had for no reason that I have ever been able to discern. It was given to a friend to use during Gishwas one year, and we were like, "You can keep it. You keep that. That's a gift to you. We don't want to move with the armadillo."
Okay.
So, jumping back to the article for a little bit.
Okay.
So, for an account to receive gifts or gift certificates, it must belong to a user who is over 18 years of age, have at least 1,000 followers, and have published at least 3 videos in the last 30 days. You must also comply with the rules of the TikTok community, have a residence in Spain, Italy, France, the US, the United Kingdom, or Germany. In the future, users from Canada and Australia will also be able to participate, and meet the minimum requirements of followers, which are different depending on the region in which the user lives. And I wanted to come back to this just because of how this last sentence is written. Finally, the business accounts, they cannot be eligible for this monetization program.
The
Finally,
business accounts,
finally,
they cannot be eligible.
the business accounts, they cannot be eligible for this.
The business accounts,
monetization.
they cannot be eligible.
How do you say business accounts?
Como dito, business accounts, they cannot be eligible. What happened with this article in the first and last sentences only? I can't. No, we're not going to sit here and parse why this article was written this way. But anyway, there are new monetization options on TikTok. That's it. Does Gritty count as a business account, Michael? I assume Gritty does count as a business account.
Michael, the article says 1,000 views, but I don't think we trust this article's word choice.
I don't either.
And that last sentence, it makes me feel like there's a joke about Citizens United in there somewhere.
In terms of what the actual requirements are, when you go to the Creator Next, there's like a sign up here, and it's like a big red button, but underneath it, in mostly not visible text, there's like a terms and conditions. Just go read the terms and conditions, because in the first paragraph, it states exactly what the requirements are for your region. Although my tip account is in Spanish, so I don't know what's going on there. I don't know why
because TikTok's so multicultural and diverse. Clearly,
it
knows that you are
new things. Even though I live in fucking New York City and I lived in the Heights for 2 fucking years.
I've been trying to convince TikTok to give me more videos in Spanish.
I've been trying to give me videos in French for years. It does not want to.
Follow Dr. Cacahuete. I don't know how that opened it up for me, but that got me, because I have 2 other friends who speak Spanish too. But then after I followed his account, like I keep getting, it's still like 1 in like 50, but I will get random. I wish I could remember how to spell his name for real though.
Yeah. Next article, Watson.
Are you guys ready to move on to a heavy article?
You told us what articles we were doing, and then I immediately forgot. So
yeah, that happens. From transphobia to Ted Kaczynski, how TikTok's algorithm enables far-right self-radicalization.
I want to know how they have worked Ted Kaczynski into this.
A recent study from left-leaning nonprofit watchdog Media Matters found that a TikTok user solely interacts with transphobic content, that if a TikTok user solely interacts with transphobic content and creators, the social networking app's algorithm will gradually begin to populate the For You page with white supremacist, anti-Semitic, and far-right videos, as well as calls for violence. So that's actually, I mean, from my perspective, obvious conclusion, but also worthwhile to demonstrate that this is like the case in experimentation on social network algorithms, that TERFs are fascists, and if you're into TERF shit, it leads you to other fascism shit.
Yep.
Actually, Tofology did
Yes.
a bit of an informal dive into this. It wasn't a study, but just did the same thing that I did with every single one of the stupid burner accounts I have, not on this phone, but on my other phone, because I don't want this phone to know anything about that and start giving me that shit on this phone. But that it took her 2 hours of consecutive scrolling and pretty much only selecting on transphobic content first to get fully into the alt-right pipeline at the end of 2 hours. I've been able to do the same thing over and over again. I know the second I get a transphobic joke on the timeline, all I have to do is click on it and it will start radicalizing the account. That's all I have to wait for.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's been going on for such a long time too. Like even before TikTok, it's incredible that they don't do something a little bit more about that, which I know it gets a little bit difficult.
It's the same problem that the YouTube algorithm had, was that it started and it funneled a lot of people from a lot of different areas down the pipeline. Like it's, you know, it also got people that were just like, that were in that like gender critical space where they're very, very vulnerable to the messaging, and they also got sucked down into like slightly different alt-right spaces with like the Magdalene Burns of the world. It happens all the time. It's very, very easy, but TERFs are fascists. Like there's nothing better that it like there. This is the illustration. This is it. This and the YouTube algorithm, and honestly, who Twitter will direct you to as well once you start liking TERF stuff. It's all the same. They're all fascist.
And also just the way TERFs talk and the things they say.
Yeah.
It is, in fact, just the words that come out of their mouth do indicate that they think fascist shit. But no one will believe you until you give them proof like this.
Yeah. I remember there were a lot of people back in the day on Tumblr who would be like, well, we already knew this. Why are you doing a study on X, Y, and Z? It's like, because, yeah, you already knew this. You were totally right. But not everyone else did. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't believe people's lived experiences.
No, they do not. God, this was so bad on Tumblr, too.
Yeah.
They really, really targeted the people that got targeted so badly were like young bi women and young lesbians. They tried to come after me one time too, where they were like, I don't know, questioning their sexuality, and they'd be like, "We're a very welcoming community."
No, you aren't.
No, you aren't. But I've seen it play out 100 times. It's good that it's formalized.
Yeah.
Can we please make people do something now?
All right, so these next few paragraphs are just like background about TikTok. In the experiment, researchers from Media Matters created a dummy account, interacted with anti-trans content, and then evaluated the first 400 videos fed into the account. Some of the videos were removed before they could be analyzed. The advertisements unrelated to the study. Of the remaining 360 videos, researchers found 103 contained anti-trans and or homophobic narratives. 42 were misogynistic. 29 contained racist narratives or white supremacist messaging. 14 endorsed violence. While nearly 400 may sound like a large number of videos if a user watches an average of 20 seconds each, they could consume 400 videos in just over 2 hours. A user could feasibly download the app at breakfast and be fed overtly white supremacist and neo-Nazi content before lunch, the study concluded. The far-right movement has historically embraced anti-trans rhetoric, and right-wing recruiters know that softer ideas like transphobia can be used to introduce newcomers to more extreme beliefs. Melody DeVry, a Ryerson University PhD candidate who studies far-right recruitment and mobilization, told Insider. The videos that start people down the rabbit hole are things that are, unfortunately, prejudices that are not considered that extreme in society.
Yeah, I agree too. Like the word softer, like it's appropriate, but like it feels wrong also because it's most people know that being like overtly racist or anti-Semitic or anything like that is not good. But if you just kind of slowly warm up to it, like you get there anyway if you're not paying attention. And just
it's awful. If people want to know more and like want a deeper dive into what is going on, in the US right now, I would highly recommend the Trans Slash podcast. Imara Jones has been doing really, really incredible reporting about the ways in which evangelical Christians have decided that the new battlefront is transphobia, and that's where they're drawing the line. And the ways in which they are using transphobia to further radicalize people. It's very, very good. High key recommend. For my TikTok, hello, I'm over on Twitch, as you can see. And if you want to hear the whole conversation, that's where I am. Thank you. Goodbye. I will be right here, but I will not be looking you in the eyeballs.
Unforeseen consequences of the digital age. Before the rise of social media, individuals predominantly formed their beliefs through real-world networks of relationships with parents, family members, and friends. Social media platforms, however, gave individuals the ability to expand these social networks by building communities in online environments. The rapid expansion and evolution of digital spaces have transposed extremist content and ideologies from niche corners of the internet to platforms that are frequented by billions of users. Now, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of our communications platforms that we think of as sort of the most easy to use can be the starting point of radicalization. And then a person can move into more layered applications that are harder to penetrate. Thomas Holt, professor and director of the Michigan State University School of Criminal Justice, told Insider. According to the National Consortium of the Study of Terrorism and Responses to Terrorism, social media's role in extremism has drastically increased over the last several years. In 2012, only 48% of extremists listed in profiles of individual radicalization in the United States, a data set, said that social media played a role in their radicalization. By 2016, 86.75% of extremists used social media in their radicalization process. Holt mentioned Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all of which are either a decade or more than a decade old. But in the past 5 years, TikTok has become one of the fastest growing social media platforms of all time, known for its powerful algorithm that serves up highly tailored videos. It has more than 100 million daily users in the US, according to CNBC, and has recently become the focus of more scrutiny surrounding its algorithm, which Black and LGBTQ creators have said censors their voices and perpetuates targeted harassment.
Yeah, we know.
I wonder also, do you mind typing the name of that podcast in chat too? Thank you. I still remember years ago on YouTube watching that video called How to Radicalize a Normie, and it's still true today. And it's interesting in the non-fun way, just to continue to watch how, not just how true it was then, but how true it is now and how it continues to evolve. And like, if people are not being informed of the ways to just kind of watch for these kinds of red flags that don't look red to begin with.
Of course,
very interesting.
Yeah, I'm thinking especially about like a lot of, again, Tumblr stuff, but like a lot of the like posts that TERVs would make on Tumblr would just be like, that would like pick up a lot of traction because they just sort of seemed like angry feminist rants. And it's like, yes, well, unfortunately, the reasons that this feminist the reason this feminist is angry is a bad reason. So,
because that is part of this other thing too, this observation. I don't know if there's like a real word for it or whatever, but again, because you can no longer be whatever this kind of like bigotry is, well, you move on to the next thing and then the next thing and the next thing. And like somehow we got from the big ones of, you know, racism and anti-Semitism and whatever to the softer ones like transphobia and fat phobia. Like, it's
well, I mean, this is
they can't get called out, so you have to go to your safe spaces of hatred, and so
the whole thing. But it's just sort of like concentric circles of like hatred and how much power someone is willing to, like, the power and violence someone is willing to exert over the people around them. So if you can start with the ones where society still feels like it's perfectly cool to be shitty to fat people, and it's perfectly cool to be shitty to trans people, once you get them in there, you can introduce ideas of like, well, you know, are trans people not just also kind of gay, and maybe we could be shitty to gay people of all kinds. And it's really, really easy once you have desensitized somebody to that kind of violence and that kind of rhetoric to get them going down that road. And it fucking makes me furious. And this is part of why I'm going to go teach high schoolers.
Yes.
I'm just going to catch them. They're going to start going down the pipeline. I'm just going to catch them.
I believe in you.
Pull them out. It's going to be fine.
I see you going down the pipe, not that pipe, the other pipe. And
See
we're
you
gonna knock
get out of that pipe. I know it looks like one of those fun slip and slides that you get on at the theme park. It is not. It is not. It will ruin
It's
your
not a
whole
safe
life.
play, kids.
The wrong pipe. Take this one. It's got weed in it.
Yeah.
Get any other one. It's got some fun drugs. It'll be fine, guys.
How big tech streamlined self-radicalization? Because social media profit models rely heavily on user engagement, most companies choose to take the proverbial middle road when moderating content in order to avoid accusations of censorship from either side of the political spectrum and ultimately damaging their bottom line, according to DeVry. The fact that those platforms are totally fine with that because that's their profit motive and that's their design, I think is a problem and obviously contributes to how right-wing communication is transformed, DeVry told Insider. Subpar content moderation has allowed implicit extremist content to largely remain on platforms, sometimes reaching up to millions of users. Many extremist TikTok videos analyzed by Media Matters employed a mimetic format or utilize the platform's unique combination of audio, video, and text to evade violating community guidelines. For example, several of the videos populated to the FYP of the researcher's dummy account used a sound called Teddy, which quotes the first line of Unabomber Ted Kaczynski's manifesto, "The Industrial Revolution and its consequences have been a disaster for the human race." The sound, which has been used in more than 1,200 videos, has become popular on right-wing TikTok.
Okay. So, okay.
So that's how Ted Kaczynski is relevant.
So that's how Ted Kaczynski has become involved. When did Ted Kaczynski get popular with alt-right extremists?
Well, and that's just the thing again, because this buzzword is now recognized as a dog whistle, so they just keep going on down the line. They will go back as far as they wanted.
No, it's not about going back. Like it's not about how long ago Ted Kaczynski was doing these things. It's that Ted Kaczynski was, if anything, like a far left extremist.
Yeah.
But I don't think they see the difference, though.
I don't know that they do either.
I mean, I think
make them see the difference.
I don't think that they're expecting any of their recruits to go and read the Unabomber manifesto and make an informed political decision based on its arguments. I think that they are expecting to push them towards eco-fascism, and gesturing at the idea of somebody who is angry about industry helps with that.
Because the name is infamous now. So, and then if you teach them to not look into what they're looking into,
that is part of it.
It helps normalize them taking seriously voices that you're not supposed to take seriously.
There is also a thing that they have to perpetuate in order to survive, which is don't look. We have all the information you need right here.
Yes.
Don't go read the Unabomber's manifesto.
Yes.
The important part is just this first line.
Yes. That's exactly right.
I mean, like, honestly, what they want people to be saying about that is, I don't agree with everything the Unabomber said, but like, you can't throw out every sentence of the text just because some of his ideas were terrible. They don't care which ones they're disavowing. They just like know which ones have been used that were persuasive to them. But like it makes that worldview a lot more persuasive to be able to say we're not talking about the whole book.
I'm so tired. Okay. So
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's good to know that I did not realize that was a brand new dog whistle. Good to know. Nice to know the things to look out for.
Yeah, I feel like I've recently seen a lot of videos about alt-right people really leaning into eco-fascism and like soft eugenics even more than usual recently as a recruiting method. I've been seeing this a lot from like disabled creators.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yep.
Probably because of COVID.
The pandemic has been like a great time for eugenicists.
Yeah.
Don't I know it?
Ah! You're doing great. It's fine.
Hi, welcome to the disability stream. Many Americans would
Yes.
have preferred all of us to die in the past year.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
So,
I was actually on a bus last week with a COVID denier because he told the whole bus. He felt compelled to tell the whole bus that he was a COVID denier. He was also sneezing repeatedly.
No, sir.
He had a mask on, but he was sneezing into his hand through the mask. And he said something like, China masks. And I was like, well, I think the masks have really been helping in China because it's been helping them control the virus.
Yeah.
He's like, of course it's helping them control it. They unleashed it. I was like,
Okay,
okay,
sir.
give me now.
Thank you so much. I like the part where he's sneezing into his hands with the mask on, so it's like filtering all of the germs, and it's just spit.
Yeah.
It's just spit on his hands now.
Yeah. Anyway.
Humanity.
In the videos we reviewed, while live streaming on TikTok, these videos not only use audio that pays homage to the terrorists, but they also promote the harassment of LGBTQ TikTok users, Media Matters researchers wrote. While the Teddy sound may not explicitly violate the platform's guidelines, videos using it frequently communicate hateful, dangerous, and even violent messages when taking into consideration the full piece of content, including other components like visuals and text.
And that's what TikTok is so bad at. They're so bad at
It feels to me like they should be able to justify just removing a sound that is Ted Kaczynski.
Is it? I mean, yes, they should be able to say like, okay, it's the Unabomber. Maybe we should get rid of this sound.
Yeah, like I understand that they will just find something a bit more subtle, but like
low
They'll be like copyright Ted Kaczynski. You have to copyright claim this, but
or they could do that thing that I suggested in my talk back in March and use the people using this sound as a like filter criteria to be like, everybody who likes these people's videos goes on another list where we're checking a little bit harder for fascism.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yes.
Which that.
The internet has become a critical resource for extremist groups, and loopholes around community guidelines allow them to promote their ideologies to larger audiences in subtle and convincing ways, according to Holt's research in deviant behavior. Whether viewers initially believe it or not, over time these interactions with content slowly kind of chips away at their ideological belief system and builds up a new one that's based around the ideas presented in the content, DeVries said. Stopping online interactions with extremist content. The impacts of disinformation, misinformation, and radicalization propagated by social media, insurrections, national security issues, and even genocide have been felt throughout the globe for years. It's not just the US. Every country is being impacted in some way by the use and misuse of social media platforms for disinformation, misinformation, or radicalization. There is an inherent need for better regulation, better management of platforms, and, to the extent that it can be provided, transparency around reporting and removal, Holt told Insider. However, DeVries added, it's not about presenting counterfacts. The interactions themselves need to be stopped. In her ethnographic analysis of far-right Facebook spaces, DeVries has seen the platform add infographics warning that a post contains misinformation in an attempt to moderate content, an approach that she sees as counterintuitive. I think they probably meant counterproductive.
Yeah.
Not only are folks interacting with the false content themselves, they're also interacting with the fact that Facebook has tried to censor it. So that infographic itself becomes another piece of content they can interact with and pull into their ideology, DeVries told Insider. When asked for comment, a Facebook spokesperson maintained that the company tries to give the maximum number of people a positive experience on Facebook and takes steps to keep people safe, including allocating $5 billion over the next fiscal year for safety and security. When a Wall Street Journal investigation exposed how Facebook proliferated real-world harms by failing to moderate hate speech and misinformation, the company acknowledged in a September 2021 blog that it didn't address safety and security challenges early enough in the product development process. I'm sure TikTok won't have that problem.
Shut up.
I bet they were thinking about it right from the beginning. Rather than pursuing reactive solutions like content moderation, Holt proposes that social media companies mitigate online extremism on their platforms by implementing solutions like those used to remove child sexual exploitation content. Tools like Microsoft's Photo DNA are used to stop online recirculation of child sexual exploitation content by creating a hash, which functions as a sort of digital fingerprint that can be compared against a database of illegal images compiled by watchdog organizations and companies, according to Microsoft. If this kind of technology was overlaid against social media, Holt said it could be automated to take down content associated with extremism or violent ideologies. Still, this solution relies on social media platforms making internal changes. In the meantime, Holt advocates for better public education on these platforms and how to use them responsibly. Yeah, the cat is out of the bag. I don't know how we roll it back and minimize our use of social media. So instead, it seems like we have to get better at educating the public, particularly young people, to understand here's how these platforms work, here's what may be there, Holt told Insider. Ultimately, both Holt and DeVry agree that more research is needed to analyze how newer platforms like TikTok are used to mobilize extremists and radicalize newcomers into their ideology, as well as discover solutions to minimize and counteract the fallout. TikTok told Insider that all of the content cited in the Media Matters study was removed from the platform for violating its hateful behavior policy. Additionally, the company outlined anti-abuse efforts that it has built into its product, including its addition of new controls that allow users to delete or report multiple comments at once and block accounts in bulk. Still, Eric Hahn, head of U.S. safety for TikTok, said in an October statement that harassment and hate speech are highly nuanced and contextual issues that can be challenging to detect and moderate correctly every time. To help maintain a safe and supportive environment for our community and teens in particular, we work every day to learn, adapt, and strengthen our policies and practices, said TikTok's Q2 2021 transparency report.
This is a good article, but this entire article, every single paragraph was me going, yes, I know.
Yeah.
I know. Yes, I know. And I think it's very important to not get caught up in the fact that we are people that are chronically online, and understand that these articles do need to exist for the general public to understand.
Yeah.
There is a problem here. I'm currently a little bit mad at the New York Times because they made the decision to publish a fun human interest article about the birds aren't real.
Oh, I read that.
And it was a good article. And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with the article. But there is actual radicalization happening on these platforms that their tech reporters are reporting on and using every single day. And they have thus far neglected to do any coverage like the coverage that we're seeing here on Business Insider of all the places. And so it's frustrating that that legacy media is slow to pick up on what is actually going on. That's sort of like par for the course. But it is frustrating to know that they have reporters. Every single one of these publications has reporters on the platforms, and they're not looking at the studies that are actually happening about the platforms, because this is really good work. And I have read a portion of the study. I have not finished it yet. And thus far, it's been very interesting and actually not all that hard to parse as someone who is not a sociologist. So high key recommend if you have access, do that. It's just frustrating. It's all very frustrating.
Yeah.
And
I did
there's
like
so
the
many.
birds aren't real article just because I didn't really know what that whole thing was about, because I guess I'm old enough now that sometimes I have to get my information on trends on social media from the New York Times.
Yeah. And it's like, it's so one of those things too, because I completely agree, but talking about certain subjects like that almost sound conspiratorial in like old school media, like they're very hesitant to do that because one part, it can kind of cause more paranoia, and then like another part, apparently my understanding from like a number of other past events is it's also, I think they hesitate to put that kind of information out because it's so nebulous. Like they don't want to report on it until they can be like, oh, look, we found this many insert problematic groups of people here and we're able to like handle it.
Yeah.
And I think it's partially.
Are you talking about TikTok's own like safety reporting?
In general?
Yeah.
Because it's like or in general, not specifically TikTok, but it's just because we all, like in this article they laid out, and we get it. Like we can talk about TikTok's specific problems, and then we do understand that it relates to these specific problems with like radicalization within other social medias. But we also don't say, well, by the way, this stuff is still happening offline too. By the way, you can still go to this other website to see like offline hate group, such. Oh gosh, the couple of words just went out of my brain completely. Because again, being radicalized online, you're not really necessarily being recruited into an organization. So
Yeah.
like you can't say this person is part of this particular hate group. Like, no, they're just a bunch of usernames online that are nebulously associated with these right-wing ideology, extremist situations. And then I'm going to stop now though, because it's such a big concept. And it's 8:01 and or 9:01, whatever. I don't know what time it is. It's a minute after, and I could talk about this stuff for so long because
I know.
there's so much.
But I mean, this is the point. This is why you're here, and this is why we like having you here, is because you can in fact talk about this forever with a lot of fun. That's the point. Is that a lot of larger media companies are not talking about this. We would at least like to be talking about it. I think if enough people are talking about it and starting to cite specific incidents and starting to do more research.
And like people want results too. And
people
this is something
results.
you can't promise results on, because it's like, yeah, there's right-wing trolls out there. Like, go punch your fucking uncle like me. Like, I've got an uncle I need to punch.
Well, I mean, there's
like stuff, but it's like
there are conversations. No, there are conversations to be had about how we de-radicalize people, and the fact that I'm never going to have any influence over 99% of the strangers I talk to on the internet, because I'm not a trusted person. They're never going to trust me.
Yes.
That has to be done with people in their life. They have to be the ones who like talk people down. The whole thing with like people need to see results online, that is correct. But there are things that they could do, like say, put a filter on people's usernames so they can't make the handle KKK Nazi racism. Like, that's such a basic, easy thing. So there are some fixes that they could put in place that would get rid of at least the most base level stupid accounts that are just teenagers doing things for shock value that don't actually think this stuff. Getting messages all over the place. Yeah.
So we are past 9 p.m. And I don't want to hold anybody up too much longer. I do want to remind everybody. Thank you, Michael. Michael just linked the Discord and the Patreon in chat. If you go to the links in chat, you can find our Discord, where you can jump in to participate in conversations about like being content creators on TikTok. If anybody over 18 can join as an accomplice and get access to our resources and a chat room for just people who are interested in organizing on TikTok. If you have more than 1,000 followers, you can request to be made a comrade, which gets you access to creator spaces, and like, intra-community conversations about how the platform is working for creators. Oh, and thank you, Michael. I was about to send that one. You can find our guest, Blythe, Am I a Fairy Princess Yet, at tiktok.com/@amifairyprincessyet, which the link to which has just been dropped in chat. And finally, if you support us on Patreon, that helps us a lot in doing stuff like this and other stuff that we really want to like be able to do more of. We'd love to start putting together like a monthly newsletter that covers just like beat by beat every major like piece of information you need to know about TikTok in the past month. And that currently is a little more work than we can just like ask somebody to volunteer. Thank you all for coming. Anybody have anything else you want to say before we get going? Blythe, do you have anything you want to plug?
No, I can't think of anything.
You have a podcast.
I do have a podcast, that's true. As soon as I said I can't think of anything, I then remembered that I have a podcast. Yes, if you are interested in the Animorphs books at all, my friends and I have a podcast called The Morph Report. TX has guested on it like 2 or 3 times. It is about the Animorphs books. It is a reread of the Animorphs book, reread for me, of the Animorphs books, but it is set 100 years in the future of the books, and we are college students in a college class reading the books as historical documents. I play a conspiracy theorist named Cassandra. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to do. I can't remember if we've actually put the last episode out, but we have finished recording it. So yeah, that's that.
Thank you.
Thank you to Adorkable Clover for subscribing on
Thank you.
Twitch.
And we only have 2 more live streams until the holiday/New Year break. 2 more live
I thought I
streams.
had much more of December left.
You don't.
And the
No.
name of that trans podcast one more time, some Translash.
Translash Media. And
LASH.
you can also look up Imara Jones on Instagram and Twitter. I do not believe she has TikTok, and find all of her stuff. Yeah.
I have so much contract data to enter before the end of the month.
And
You can do it.
Goodbye. Good night.
Night,